Hey, it's Ty Crandall. So a lot of people ask me, can you get approved for a business loan even if you have credit issues, even if you have severe credit issues? So the answer is absolutely you can get approved for both credit and financing for your business even if you have personal credit issues. And in this short, frequently asked questions video, I'm going to explain to you exactly how that's possible. So the first thing you need to know is this. Big banks are not the answer. As a matter of fact, over 90% of business loans do not come from big conventional banks. Now, this is a mystery to a lot of people because most people I ask, where would you go if you need money? Their response is, my bank. Well, the truth is, in this case, that answer is not the right answer. Business loans are high-risk loans. Most businesses fail. As a result of that, most lenders, big banks, will not touch a lot of small business loans unless the business is really, really established. Because conventional banks focus on low-risk financing, not high-risk financing. But here's the great news. The great news is that over 90% of business loans come from what are referred to nowadays as alternative lenders. And there's a lot of alternative lenders and alternative lending programs that work for people even with credit issues. So the most common of these is called a cash advance. Now these can be referred to as many different things. We personally refer to them as revenue lending or a merchant cash advance. Now what a cash advance is they're simply looking at your bank statements. And if you have over $10,000 a month in revenue and you have a lot of little deposits in your bank account, let's say more than 10 every month, and if you're managing the bank account responsibly, meaning you don't have a bunch of non-sufficient fund charges because you're overdrawing the account, then you're a good candidate for a merchant cash advance or for cash flow financing. Now the way this financing works is they look at your bank account, they see how much that you have these things that we talked about, and if you meet this requirement, then they're usually going to get you about 10 or 12% of whatever your annual revenue is. So let's say, for example, that you have $150,000 in annual revenue. You might be able to get a $15,000 loan. Okay, let's say that you have $1 million in annual revenue. You could probably get a $100,000 merchant advance. Now I kind of said that wrong because these aren't really loans. What's actually happening is you're selling your future revenue to them at an actual discounted rate. So that's what happens. You're selling them future revenue. You're using your future revenue basically, or the fact that you have revenue as collateral to get approved for financing. Here's the best part. You can get approved for cash advances in most cases with scores as low as 500. So even if your FICO score is 510, 520, 530, you can often get approved for merchant cash advances and revenue financing. So they work very well with people with bad credit. And you can get approved quick. Like you can get these loans in less than a week. We've seen people get approved and fund in less than 72 hours, even in as little as 24 hours. So it's fast, easy money. Don't get me wrong. It's expensive money. It's much more expensive than you're ever going to find at a conventional bank because the risk is so much higher. But the good news is that the first advance is usually more expensive than the second. So once you get initially approved and you use the actual financing, you pay it back. When about half of it's paid back, you can then get another merchant advance, and the terms are significantly better than the first one you get. It's kind of like paying your dues. The first one you get, you have to pay your dues. You have to prove that you can actually manage the loan, and when you do so, you can get basically loans indefinitely every time you pay half of that outstanding advance down. And a lot of people do. In our history, about 80% of our clients come back and get these time and time again because it's such fast and easy money. But here's the catch. You don't get these just to get money lying around. If you're going to get money to reinvest into your business, to start making money, these make a lot of sense. But if you're trying to get money just to get through the slow season, these don't make much sense because you are paying so much to actually obtain them. So if you're using an advance to make money, then it makes sense in a lot of cases. But if you're just getting an advance just to have money laying around, that's not the purpose that they're really good for. So advances are a great way to get financing even if you have credit issues. There's other type of financing that's also out there, and it's called asset asset or collateral-based financing. So with collateral-based financing, let me see if I have enough room here. I kind of messed myself up. So we'll just leave that even off the board. So with asset or collateral-based financing, you can get financing for your business based on the collateral that you have. Now, acceptable collateral might be commercial real estate, 401k, it might be stocks, it could be equipment that you own outright, it could even be a book of business if you're an insurance agent, or account receivables if you have businesses that owe you money, or purchase orders. These type of things work as collateral and assets that you can actually borrow against and get asset and collateral-based financing. And the best part about this kind of financing is that you can get rates as low as 5%, even if you have credit issues. It's actually lower rates than you'll even get with most SBA and conventional type of loans. So with asset-based financing, let me just go ahead and put right here, asset-based financing, so you know that that's where you're going to get those kind of rates. If you have collateral on assets, you can get approved for very low rates. Now, another kind of financing you can get, even if you have credit issues now, is business credit. Now, business credit, of course, as you probably know about me, is my personal favorite. I love business credit because business credit you can obtain without any personal liability, without a personal guarantee, without even providing a personal credit check. So business credit you can obtain regardless of your scenario. You could be a startup, you don't need collateral, your personal credit doesn't matter. As a matter of fact, it's the only type of money you can get for a business where personal credit, where collateral and cash flow don't matter. So as I said, with cash advances, you have to have cash flow. With asset-based financing, you have to have assets and collateral. But with business credit, you don't need assets, you don't need collateral, you don't need cash flow, you don't need good credit to get approved. Anybody can obtain it even as a startup. So here's a few different options you have, even if you have credit issues now. You can get a cash advance if you have revenue. It's a great way to go. It's fast, easy money. You're going to pay a little bit for it, but as you prove yourself, the terms get better. You've got asset-based financing, also referred to as collateral-based financing. Super low rates, even if you have credit issues, but of course, you have to have assets or collateral to get approved. And of course, is my favorite, which is business credit, where you can get vendor accounts, store credit cards at most major stores, even $5,000, $10,000 and higher, Visa and MasterCard cash credit cards within a pretty short period of time. You can get vendor credit right away, store credit within about 60 to 90 days, and cash credit cards within about 4 months, about 120 days, regardless of cash flow, collateral, or personal credit. So there's a few different options you can obtain even if you have personal credit issues. Again, this is Ty Crandall. I hope you enjoyed this short video answering the question of what type of financing and credit's available if you have credit issues.